Whether you like it or not, it sucks being single. Relationships are a container for our deepest healing and our greatest joy because life is better with company. All the people say, I'm happy single, I'm happy single. All right. So the universe is going to go, I'm not going to give you anybody because you already told me you're happy and single. The problem with midlife is we have a significant divorce population. They're no longer on the hunt for a wife. Men who are genuinely serious about long-term commitment know within 90 days whether or not she's someone he's willing to go the distance. Every man I know that's in a happy relationship, they knew it early on. So the minute someone says, let's take it slow, let's see where this goes, you're not the one. If I was a younger guy, I'd be dating nothing but older women. I would just be all over them. And let me tell you why. You get all the benefits. They oftentimes have a good high sex drive. They've got their act together. You don't have to worry about getting them pregnant, and you have an easy exit clause when you want to end the relationship. So your challenge with dating a younger man is he has a built-in exit clause if he doesn't currently have children, because he can use that as a way to exit the relationship. So then the question becomes, why would a younger man want to date an older woman? I just gave you the reasons why. Do you want to take the risk?
How do I know what I truly want? I think I want a committed relationship and maybe to eventually marry again, but beyond that, I just don't know. How do I get that going where I figure out what I want? Because otherwise I'm just playing
Well,
defense. Everybody that comes at me, I don't know what I want.
okay, this is a great question. What you want, first off, is ideally someone who shares your values. We all value honesty, integrity, trust, that sort of thing. So if health is a core value for you, then dating someone who smokes 10 cigarettes a day and eats bonbons all day long probably isn't your ideal partner. Next, most importantly, is can the person you meet, can their lifestyle blend in with your lifestyle? For those of us in midlife, this is one of the most critically challenging areas in relationship, particularly because of proximity. When the further two people are apart physically, the harder it is to create continuity in a relationship. Lifestyles have to be blendable. And most importantly, is around emotional maturity. Sadly, we are swimming in a sea of emotional dysfunctionality. The number one emotional health issue facing most humans is I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not likable. And sadly, dating triggers these wounds like nobody's business.
Where are the best places to meet men?
Rather than the question of where are the men, the real question is how do I attract a partner that's really aligned to who I am and what I want? That would be a question that has some more validity as
Mm.
opposed to where they are. When we're meeting total strangers, it relies heavily on traction just to get the balls rolling, just to get it moving. And it doesn't contemplate shared values, blendable lifestyles, and emotional maturity. And particularly when I say emotional maturity, that's one of the most significant areas of pre qualifying, ideally, what we need to be focused on. And I say need to be focused on because we are swimming in a sea of dysfunctionality as human beings, particularly in their capacity to be emotionally mature and, more importantly, have relationship skills.
Is it okay to date younger men?
It's okay to do whatever you want. If I was a younger guy, I'd be dating nothing but older women. I would just be all over them. And let me tell you why. You get all the benefits. They oftentimes have a good high sex drive. They've got their act together. You don't have to worry about getting them pregnant. And you have an easy exit clause when you want to end the relationship. And is I'm going to find someone I can go make babies with. So your challenge with dating a younger man is he has a built-in exit clause if he doesn't currently have children, because he can use that as a way to exit the relationship. So then the question becomes, why would a younger man want to date an older woman? I just gave you the reasons why. Do you want to take the risk?
Woo! That was a smoking answer. Whoa.
I'm
That,
glad.
that was really good. That was really good. How do I know if my standards are too high? That's one question we had is, do I have to make more compromises now that I'm older?
If I'm articulating in this way, let me also say men are just as dysfunctional as women are dysfunctional, and their standards or expectations oftentimes are driven by our ego. You have to become partner you want. And if you haven't, and I'm here to beat on the drum, if you haven't looked at your childhood wounds and your adult traumas and really deeply healed them, you will most likely repeat patterns in your life. These patterns tend to be centered around love attachment style or something else known as the imago, IMAGO. This is what Harvell Hendricks and Helen Hunt talk about, where we choose partners similar to one or both of our parents because we have a wound that needs to be healed from that part in our life. So I believe we have to first work on that ego part that believes physical attraction leads to a relationship success. It's
Mhm.
important to be attracted to your partner, but that's not a guarantee for relationship success.
Is it okay for me to make the first move and and ask a man out today?
Oh God, you know what? Absolutely. There's this ridiculous narrative going on there. By the way, it used to be women drop their hanky. It was like they drop their hanky, guy pick it up, and they'd say hi. So why is that? But Jonathan, I'm being in my masculine energy if I ask him. I guarantee you, no man's penis shrunk to the point where he was so intimidated that he peed in his pants because you said, hi, I'd like to take you out for coffee. If you're going to take the risk of asking someone out, you better be prepared for what we deal with all the time, rejection. But I always like what Albert Einstein looked at rejection when it came to creating the light bulb. Every failure he looked as one step closer to creating what he wanted. You can look at it from the glass half empty or the glass half full. It's one
Okay.
step closer to getting what you want.
I found it almost impossible to find men who are aligned with me emotionally and financially. How can I avoid attracting men who are projects, so to speak, or they're just wanting me for my money? I'm always having to pay their way. That sounds like a
Well,
taker. But what do you do about that?
first off, if you know your pattern, it's like walking down the street and seeing a hole. If you know your pattern, stop fucking falling into the hole if you know your pattern. Okay. If you're really this successful woman, then let me ask you this. Do you practice the law of attraction in your business life? Why aren't you doing the same in your personal life? When you say, here's the challenge, if the story in your head is there's no good men out there, men are users, men are takers, men are commitment phobics, yeah, you'll attract more of that. You'll only see that. So, what's the first thing to do? It's raining great men. It's raining great men. It's raining great men.
I
You know,
love
I have a
that.
practice with my clients when they're on dating apps and they're swiping. Every time they swipe the direction they're not interested in, I always say to that guy, I'm sending you love. In other words, send love with anyone that you're not interested in. You're wishing them well instead of, oh, I can't believe the guy had a picture of a fish. Oh, I can't believe the guy is standing in front of his Ferrari. I can't believe the guy is standing with
Yes.
his shirt off. Listen, you can either be Eeyore or you can be Tigger. Eeyore is a drag. Tigger at least has got the right attitude.
Should I put a picture of me in a bikini because men want to see what your body looks like? In order to meet with the goal and the intention of we're trying to find someone that is open to marriage and commitment, is that a good idea?
Let's be clear. Your body is equally important to a man. Well, I don't mean to women, but that's a huge criteria. So if you put a photograph of what your body looks like, whether it's in a bikini, whether you're in a workout clothes, but something that tells me what your body looks like and not these angled kind of things. We have to own what our bodies look like, okay? Not a derivative of what your body looks like. When a man only sees headshots, in the back of his mind, he might just reject you because he's afraid of what might be underneath. Okay. So you might get a date, but you might not get a call back ever. So why waste your time? Put together the presentation of what you look like. And a bikini doesn't mean you're a low hanging fruit. Okay. That's a misconception. Now, if you're exaggerating your body and you're doing it to get attention, you're going to get low hanging fruit because you put out low hanging fruit. But I don't think a bikini in and of itself, if there are other quality photographs included.
Okay, I like that. That's great to know because I think I've seen a couple women have asked me for help with theirs, and it's a lot of times it's that really like provocative, like you said, the distorted kind of contorted by the view and the other mirrors. And okay,
Well,
anyway,
because women have this thing, if he can't love me for who he am, I don't want to give him the time of day. Fuck, guess what, folks? We are superficial human beings. We can't
Yeah.
get around that. It used to be when we met organically, we actually fell in love with who the person was.
Hmm.
Sadly, today, we are a predominant, I don't care. Look at, I'm a fairly enlightened guy. I've done a shitload of personal development work, and I'm still a petri dish sometimes of shallowness. Okay. That's just, I'm owning it. It doesn't make me a bad person, I don't think.
Here's some great questions to dive in. What are the signs a guy is ready for commitment and emotionally mature based on his profile? Because what we're seeing a lot of times is women, they don't write any, believe it or not, most men or a lot of men don't write anything in their profile. They just have their pictures with some of the little tags that are pre-selected where you can find this, that, whatever my sign is, my political views, whatever. Or they may have one picture. How do we know? What is it? How do we know someone's commitment material?
My dating profile, the first sentence was, I want to get remarried. That's a clear sign, okay, that I'm serious. That was the first sentence.
I love that. That's great.
Okay.
Clear.
Now, that's the exception, not the rule. By the way, it is virtually impossible to know based on someone's profile how serious they are. It's almost impossible because it's if you met someone in at the grocery store, you still, that's all you have is a visualization of them and maybe what they wrote. Now, men are sophisticated here. Men are starting to wise up and start to tell you what you want to hear. So to women, okay,
Oh,
so this
no.
fascinates me.
Oh my
A
God.
woman will say, a woman will say, I want a relationship. And they're on a first date with a guy and he says, I want a relationship too. And in her mind, she's thinking, I'd like to spend 3 or 4 days and nights a week together doing shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in our personal and our professional life, intimacy, both physical and emotional intimacy that leads to either moving in together or getting married. That's what she's thinking. And his relationship is, I see her when I want to see her. Like, if you don't define what that word means to you, because it's just a word, and
Yeah.
the dictionary definition isn't as complex as I just outlined because your definition might be different than theirs. So finding out like what does a relationship look like for you? What does it mean to you? What does commitment look like for you? What does commitment mean to you? These are deeper words. Now, guys are getting sophisticated. They're now telling you what you want to hear. And then what do? They sleep with you and then they go, I'm not ready for a relationship. That just means but that's the risk we take. We
It
have
is the
to,
risk we take.
it's part of the dance, whether we like it or not, because there isn't a shotgun pointed at that guy's head to be in integrity. So you have to do your due diligence ahead of time. Men who are genuinely serious about long-term commitment know within 90 days whether or not she's someone he's willing to go the distance. I say this because every man I know that's in a happy relationship, they knew it early on. Okay. So the minute someone says, let's take it slow, let's see where this goes, you're not the one. Okay. You're
You,
not the one. You are not the
Jonathan.
one.
Yes.
Anytime a guy says, let's take it slow, let's see where this goes, you are not the one. You're the one filling the placeholder until someone else comes along. Okay.
Ah,
So you didn't ask about marriage. Shame on you.
no, I did. I mentioned it in my profile. It was in my,
Oh, I
I
thought you said,
profile.
but no, you didn't talk to you. Okay, this is another thing. You just 'cause you wrote in the profile doesn't mean you
No, no.
shouldn't point blank.
I did, we actually had the conversation because we shared, like we made lists of what we both wanted in a partner. And so when we started dating, we shared our lists. And on my list, I said, I would like to be married again. And he said, I don't know if I want that. I'm not really wanting to get
Wait a
married.
minute. Did the penis get to go inside the vagina before you heard that?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
By the way, so to talk about it 3 months later, talk about this shit before the penis ever gets to go inside the vagina.
Great advice. I think what that big lesson was for me is I learned to love myself, which I did not have that before that. I had to go and learn how to identify who I was inside and say, what's going on there, little Jill? What's happening with you? Are you okay? What do you need right now? And talk to myself and really nurture myself. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way, but it's just everything's meant to be. And yeah, it's really just transforming how we see that and just really expressing love and gratitude for the person as well and wishing them well.
I think self-love is a journey that takes a lifetime to experience, and you probably don't fully actualize as a person who's loved themselves until seconds before you die, most likely. If you want to be in a relationship, are you fully committed to going all in with somebody? Okay. because relationships are our best, they're part of the healing process. And sometimes two people join together and one person is fully ready to go all in and the other person isn't all ready to go all in. And so what happens is if they choose to do the work to heal, problem is they can't do it with you. They have to do it on their own and then choose to be all in with someone who's also all in with someone. So that's why coming back full circle to why marriage is so important. I love all the people say, I'm happy single, I'm happy single. You
Mhm.
just told the universe you're happy and you're single. Yeah. Right. So the universe is going to go, I'm not going to give you anybody because you already told me you're happy and single.
Mhm.
Okay. Or excuse me.
Re-
So I think you
re-
get the gist of where I'm
Remember,
saying.
yeah, remember the movement where everyone was saying, I'm marrying myself?
Yeah. But
That was like, we think that's the same thing. You're not going to attract anyone because
yeah,
you're supposed into your
I
own.
have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you want to get remarried?
Yes.
Okay. How definitive are you?
100%.
Okay. Then I want you to declare right now, 6 months from today, you are getting engaged.
Wow. Okay. I declare.
Let's make that
Getting
declaration.
engaged
I
in
want you to
6 months.
write it
Yeah.
on your calendar. Right now, you're getting engaged within 6 months from this date. So February 3rd, and from the day or whatever date that this is launched.
Yeah.
Okay. Set
Okay.
that date, set that intention.
Okay.
Okay.
I love
Now,
that idea.
because I guarantee you, you meet a guy who's aligned to who you are and what you want, and he is emotionally mature and you share the same values and your lifestyle is blendable. You meet him, he's going to want to do it within a very short period of time.
I am jazzed about it. I'm like getting goosebumps. I'm getting chills. This is yay. Yeah. I'm dead. I'll take that challenge. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm putting that out there. So that being said, I'm always asking myself, because part of this was we talked about before, is knowing what you want. Is the man qualified for the job? Is he qualified long term? Does he have the right standards? Do we have then the other one is, who do I need to be to attract
Yes.
that partner? And that's what I have spent years trying to prepare myself for that. And so I can need to,
You know
okay,
what?
I'm not done. I need to keep looking.
Yeah, we are traditionally speaking, it is incredibly rare for a woman to ask a man to marry him, right? It's
Yeah.
not part of the framework, or because it's too masculine or whatever. That's bullshit. Um, Asking a guy to marry you, think of what that does. It declares the relationship. You really know how he feels about you in that moment if you do the asking. Think about that. I really want to really think about this. Like, because why is it that women, where you said this earlier, where's this relationship going? You're giving him your power. It's on
Oh,
his
snap.
terms.
Yeah.
So stop fucking complaining about the patriarch when in the most critical phase of your life, you're waiting for the man to ask you, ask him merely to get a temperature gauge. And guess what's going to happen? He's going to double talk you and you'll
Oh,
succumb to that bullshit double talk.
okay. What will he say?
I'm just not
What-
ready. I could see it. Whenever they say that is an excuse, you've already, because you've already doubled down on it, you're going to stick it out. That's the time to say, if you're giving me excuse, say, you know what? I want to wish you all well. I'm going to move on. That takes fucking courage to
Mm.
look someone in the eye and say, look, I love you. I care about you. But if you're not on the same page with me, then I'm moving on. I've done it.
I love this. And thank you. Right. No, this was so great. I'm thinking of an interview I saw with Matthew Hussey, and I think it was Tom Bailot, and it's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
interviews. And they said, you have to want your partner to win. And I think that's something that we often don't do. We're not thinking about, that's going back to what you said about putting partners first, really taking charge and not being on defense is not just saying, oh, I'm waiting for him to do something. You're also saying, I want the best for them too. But at the same time, I'm going to tell them what I want. I want the best for me, but I also do want to have this interdependent thing. So
When that woman said, can I show my appreciation
yeah,
by treating you for a drink? Can you receive? When we show up as givers in the dating process and not takers, sadly, most everybody is, what can I get? Not what I can give. When two people show up as what I can give to each other, even in this experience, whether it works out or not, you're going to have an amazing experience. And maybe if we have enough amazing experiences, we won't be down on the process.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an invitation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. This has been so incredible. I hope we can do another interview soon again, maybe dive on some other on some other topics and things you're working on, and appreciate you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for allowing me to rant. I love
Oh,
it.
this was so much fun. Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching today. Definitely check out Jonathan's channel.
Yeah,
Like,
there'll be a
share,
link somewhere.
subscribe. Yep, we're going to get all that. We'll get the website in there too and all of his social channels. So stay tuned for another episode soon. Look forward to seeing you again. Stay connected.